I've also been trying to understand the white psyche, right? Real heavy, right? Spending real time with myself, like whole day, whole night, right? Spending whole time, whole day, whole night, right? I've also been trying, as you all see, right? Trying to understand the white psyche, right? Trying to understand the white psyche. Remember, I spent time with myself already before this event occurred, understanding me as a social being, trying to understand others now. The white psyche, and I'm trying to understand this point about whites and the government, right? The whites who believe that in anti-government, right? Remember, I kind of get an anti-government idea, right? Based on an idea, right? Based on your idea, right? I didn't like where I was working. I hate most of government, honestly. But I'm not anti-government, right? I hate a lot of it. But I'm not really anti-government, right? To the core, right? But I hate most of it, right? But I've been trying to understand the white psyche, right? It's June 2026, right? And I've been trying to understand the white psyche, right? Where this situation is concerned about the group of whites that being 100% anti-government without a willingness for a conversation. Hey, I drink pipe water sometimes. Hey, I using the lights and it's coming from Tech, right? And these kind of things now, right? Which is government or partial government or whatever, right? But anyhow, right? I trying to understand these things now, right? Agriculture as an next ministry that's important. Agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture, Health, right, and local government, right. We need them three ministries, right. Um, Finance extent, right, but not in a way that all leaders do it, right. What is this? Ministry of National Legal Affairs, but not in the way all leaders do it, right. So yeah, right, we're moving along. I'm not anti-government 100. I'm anti how all leaders do government, right? That's why anti, right? Good. So I try to understand the white psyche now, right? Because that different kind of psychopathy too, right? So I realized when I make my last video, right? These voices come up and volunteer shit PLACK out, right? Now I don't deal up with them kind of thing because you see all this still on all this genocidal shit. And that's why I had to make this video. Hey, why is white people so fucking psychologically deranged, right? Why all it is want to the first bad experience I have with a black, right, or the last bad experience I have with a black, right, all it is always be on some genocidal shit. Something does be wrong with all your mentals. If I just have an argument with a black, right, and we fall out over something, and in fact the thing we fall out over is all your fault. So how all you doesn't see all your own psychopathy, boy? How Ollie doesn't see all your own mental illnesses? Why do you understand why? Right? Ollie doesn't recognize all your own mental illness. Why? Just remember, as a psychologist said, Ollie doesn't recognize all your own mental illness. Right? As white people. If the first or last experience I had with a black person, the first thing Ollie had to look to jump at is to shit that race out. Right? There's something wrong with all your whole mentals, boy. I think they bring tears to people's eye, boy. Right? I really hate how that situation just play out there, trust me. Right? I hate it. But that's a personal thing now. Right? That's an individual personal thing. Right? Look, I had to go and drop somebody, right? So next week, right? To buy the health center. Now when I go there, the health center full of people who actually caring for people. Right? Now I wouldn't exactly call them people selfish. Right? But I would call people, you're working in an organization where you know you're not really making a difference, right? Like when I was working, for example, I could say, well, okay, when I was working there, I was selfish because hey, I ain't doing nothing of real purpose. And others who in that environment are doing nothing of real purpose. And a lot of people in the government are doing nothing of real purpose. Right? But hey, for example, you take health, right? Health, certain aspects of healthcare, not all, certain aspects of healthcare, right? Like these, I really like local government, all you know that, right? Since I small, I advocating, right, for this. Remember on Facebook, I so always be posting up thing, right, regarding the legislation that had to change regarding local government. Remember that? And they keep delaying it. All you remember that? And I so always be posting about it on Facebook, right? Because they keep delaying the local government reform bullshit, right? Remember, right? All you remember that? I remember that. And I used to always be on Facebook talking about it, right? Posting about it, the local government reform, right? So, look, when like when I go to drop my well, I was calling my grandfather, right, to the health center there every couple of weeks. I went a couple times, right. When I go there, right, I just observe thing and I was observed well, right. So there's a shout out to people in the health center there, right, who just be actually caring for people and they don't feel appreciated. Hey, certain aspects of the government, right, I could vibe with, certain things no. Right, so when I go there and I see people actually caring for people, like I could appreciate them kind of thing because you actually haven't care for people. Or they sit down in our office, man, this is all they need to understand. Or they sit down in our office and pretending all they doing fucking work, all they doing shit. Then all they selfish, no matter can't. And I don't have no apologies. I really don't have no apologies for saying it. And I don't have no apologies for saying it. Right, when they go in our office in Port of Spain or anywhere in the country, right, well, Port of Spain in particular, because at the head office of nothingness, the head office of doing nothing, right? So I know so no fucking apologies, boy. The head office, them buildings, the head office of doing nothing. Right? When they go into them buildings, right, and they get a vibe and they feel out and they, hey, is the head office of doing nothing. Right? So what I just advocate for is for that decentralization. You see how they have health centers all over the country and I can appreciate them kind of things. Right? I can like them kind of things. I basically like Nicholas Stower and them. But sorry to call names and things, but this is how I really feeling, boy. You see that building, boy? Right? It have fucking zombie in that building, boy. Right? People just wanna kill themselves and all kind of thing in that building, boy. Right? Hear what? Right? Real evil things is be coming out of our building, right? Real evil things is be happening in our building. They are building real evil. I don't make no apologies for saying it. I don't have no. I not hiding saying it. I not typing it up in no website saying it. I saying it plain and open. Right? Something is wrong with our building. Right? It have zombie in that building. It have old colonial ghosts in that building. It have haunted shit in that building. Right? And all need to exercise that building. Right? Good. Right? Anyhow, right, is about the what I really wanna the point I really wanna make, right, is regarding government and anti-government thing, right? So it's not really for me an argument between government and anti-government. It be come back to life. Right? It's not between anti-government and government, right? It's really oh, that's a mini roach or so, right? It's not that, but is a wider issue of a conversation and a wider issue of our history, right? And a wider issue of trying to understand each other, right? Understand each other, right? So you see how Mark Pastors be like, hey, block from accessing each other's energy until all changes are made, right? Meaning that you want somebody to become exactly like you than for you to accept them, right? I not like that, right? I not saying leave the government and then talk to me. I say have care in your heart as an actual care for me as a person, and then you could talk to me because I care about you as a person. So that is the difference between me and Mark Pastor, really, right? I'll tell you the difference between me and Mark Passio. Mark Passio be like, oh, we block from accessing each other energy until all relevant changes are made. Oh, you had to leave the government, you had to do this, you had to stop eating meat, you had to do this, you had to do that, you had to leave the mark, you had to take out all your money from that, and then you can interact with me. Right? I don't move like that. Right? I don't move like, hey, you had to sweep your room or you had to clean your room and then I can talk to you. I don't move like that. Right? I don't, and that difference between me and he. Right? I don't operate like that, right? Because there's something psychopathic in your brain too, boy. And something was done to you, right? And the thing was done to me as well. But I didn't let that thing affect me. That I come out in the way that you come out, right? Because that same MK Ultra thing, if that happened to you and a torment thing that happened to you, happened to me as well. If it's the same thing we go through, I didn't come out the way you come out still, right? And something really wrong with psychopathically with that too, with your thought, right? Because if the only way you could communicate with a person is if they, by all standards, right, abide by your rules, there's something wrong, right? Now, I saying, you don't have to leave the government to communicate with me, right? Why saying is, right? Why saying is, right, to have some fucking CARE for me as a person because I care about you as a person, that all, right, good.